How are you, my love? Yeah?
Yeah, feeling good.
Good.
Yeah, how are you?
I'm good.
Good.
Yeah. I got a little weekend sun in Miami.
Ooh, what was in Miami?
Nothing. I just booked. It was like and those days in January when it was like 3 degrees outside. I had a few friends who were in Puerto Rico, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. I need warm.
Yes.
So I went there for the long weekend and just stayed on the beach.
I haven't been to Miami in a long time.
Me either.
My sister used to live there, so I would be there all the time. But now she lives up here, so.
Yeah. It's, going, you might know, it's so, I forgot how short the flight is. It's 2 hours to get
It
there.
was like 84 degrees.
Yes.
Degrees.
And ocean temperature was very warm, and it
How's
was
the seaweed though?
great. I stayed in South Beach. I didn't rent a car. I was like, I'm not going anywhere that's outside of a walking distance because I'm here for sun and beach. But when the tide was in, it was totally fine and clear. Yeah.
Yeah, the last couple of times I was there was kind of like you had to,
Cross.
cross a little moat.
Hi, look at your hair. I love it. Hello. How are you? Good. When did you cut it?
I cut it a few months ago, and I liked the length.
Yeah.
And I just chopped it a few weeks ago, and I'm like,
It suits you. I love it. How you doing? You good?
it's like gonna actually snow.
It says NPR driving over here said 4 inches tonight.
Is it gonna stick?
I don't know, because driving it was just like slushy. Yeah.
It's like coming down.
I know. Which is, yeah, you can't see anymore. Snow globe. Hi. Good, how are you? Deeply romantic. I love. Hi, all. We'll start in a little bit, and we'll use all of the props. So take your time grabbing anything that you need. 2 blocks, blanket, strap. I started it. Yeah. 2 blocks, blanket, strap, and some therapy balls that are all in the baskets right here. And we can bring those to you later. Hi. I don't have a plan with it, but if you want to use it, you definitely can. Say that again? Every Tuesday, Thursday, yes.
For what, the whole semester till May?
Till May. Yeah.
Are you getting to know them? They're getting to know you?
Yeah, kind of. They're very quiet.
That doesn't sound like genuine.
Yeah. They're quiet and they love to be on their phones. So I'm trying to nip that in. I'm trying to nip that in the bud to be like, leave it outside. You don't need it.
No. Wait, but they're literally like in class?
And Apple Watches and phones.
Doing yoga?
Mm-hmm.
No. That seems unpleasant.
Yeah, but it's okay.
They're so cute.
One day.
Well, I did see her. She didn't look at it while she was doing yoga, but it was right next to her.
That I don't mind.
And I feel like she did look at it at some point, but not like in the middle of the pose.
Yeah.
Getting towards the end, or I don't know when it was.
Yeah. There's a person who's she has her Apple Watch on and we're in chair pose and she's looking at it and I'm like,
Is she like answering things?
I don't know. And she sits right in the front too, so it's not something that I can like avoid.
The thing is, there's not even like a, I don't want to say shame because that's not the right word, but it's not like they're trying to hide it. They're just
No, I know.
I'm okay, you're okay.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
Nuts.
They're not hiding that, are they?
No, I know.
What are they, like 20 or 21? Is it grad school?
No, undergrad. Yeah. Hi, MK. How was your drive? Did you come from West? How was it?
Snowy,
Yeah.
wet.
Yeah. Do you have the? I came from West too. I'm like, do people forget how to drive? Or are we just like mesmerized by the snow? It's every corner someone was just.
Yeah, I think I've noticed like the last week nobody knows how to drive.
Yeah.
And that could be
We're just too
a
excited.
confluence of things.
Fair.
I was supposed to go to the dentist. Well, I went to the dentist today and got a finger, and drove all the way up there and got to the office, and it was locked. And I'm like, this is weird. And so like after a while, I called them, and they answered, and they're like, yeah, we're closed. We left you 3 voicemails telling you we're
Close.
closed.
Did you get them later?
Later.
Yeah.
Oh yes, you did.
But I'm here now.
So I'm like, no one else knows how to drive.
Yeah.
I'm just like on the road for no reason.
Oh.
Miami, great.
Hmm?
Miami, that's very cool. Yeah. Were you here for the Super Bowl or?
I was on the plane. Yeah. Because I booked the tickets. I was telling Keyshawn, I had a meltdown 2 weeks ago when it was the 8 and 10 degrees, and I was like, I can't make it. And the Eagles hadn't won anything yet. And so I was like, great, with this random Sunday, I'll come back. I don't have teacher training. And then 2 days before the trip, I was like, uh-oh, this happened. But it actually ended up being way cuter than I thought because everyone was watching it on their phones. But there was a little internet lag. Like some people would know what's happening, so there would just be like a wave of applause or cheers throughout the plane. And then by the time we touched down, the cab driver got us home in like 4 minutes from West Philly. Was like, the game is on, I need to make it. Oh, but yeah,
For that, because it wasn't like they were just,
cruising.
as people say, smoked them.
Yes. Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4.
People on Instagram.
It's the internet, the culture of the internet. Okay. The hardest part is done, walking through the snow, making it to class in a little snow globe. We're waiting on a few more people. We'll see if they arrive, but if they do, plenty of space for them. Good to see you all. Thanks for coming to class. There's a few new faces and names to the studio and to class, so on the off chance we didn't officially say hi to each other, my name is Anisha, and this is Marcy, who will be here assisting. And the way that it'll look is Marcy will practice. Hi, Amy, come on in. We'll be practicing from the mat so that you guys and everyone at home can have a visual. And I'll be walking around and teaching. So call me over if you have any questions or things don't quite feel right or make sense. In the yogic sphere, that's where my domain starts and ends as far as the feeling right capacity goes. How are we feeling? Any requests? I have an agenda of where we're going to go today. But happy to weave in any body parts that need attention, any poses you want to explore. Great. Love to see it. Hi, come on in. I'm telling Marcy, this year I've started teaching undergrads, like 19 to 22-year-olds. And I'm trying to make friends with them, like recreational friends with them, to be like, you can talk to me in class, it's okay. And I taught them today and was like, any requests? And everyone was just like, so I understand, I am the same way, but if you do have any requests that come up, modify, spectate, hydrate, take any and all the time that you need, but I'm happy we're here. So for the whole month of February, last week, this week, and the next couple of weeks, I've kind of deemed it as the month of working towards arm balances and deep hip openers, because the two go hand in hand with each other. In order to balance on the arms, we got to find a lot of space to get compact and a little smaller. And some of you were here last week when I mentioned that when you look at the skeleton of the human body, the bones of your arms are connected to the shoulder blades, to the rib cage, and create this very literal container for your heart and for your chest. And so in our yoga practice, the metaphor is your arms, your hands are a way that your heart begins to express itself in the world outside. So how can we do it with more intention, more sweetness, more integrity as we balance on them and see where it takes us? So lots of twists, lots of hips, and everything else in between. But thank you for being here. Can we start lying on our backs, please, if you wouldn't mind? Can you have your heads up towards me, your feet to the wall behind you? And as you come to lay on your back, come in any way, shape, or form that you'd like. Meaning you might have your, hi, come on in. You might have your arms and legs out long, more in that traditional Shavasana shape. I'm going to ask you a favor. I'm going to move you just a few inches this way so that butt's not in the camera. Yeah. So as you come to lay on your back, like I mentioned, you might have those arms and legs long. If you're feeling anything in your hips or in your low back, perhaps your knees are bent, feet are as wide as your mat as you knock your knees into one another so that the weight of your legs really supports the other. And as you let your arms fall anywhere they fall, on your lap or alongside of you, let your eyes either close or soften to listen for the sound of your breath. When we close our eyes, it gives us a moment to see ourselves more clearly than before, just in case you need them. Where each breath slowly dissolves the day and the morning that was. Each breath lets you arrive to where you are now. And every breath that comes after makes a little more space for what has yet to come. So as you let the steadiness of your breath continue to deepen, take a longer breath in through the nose, let it fill your belly and up into your chest. And exhale to offer all of that breath out. Continue with a few more rounds just on your own, each breath moving in, down, and wide. And every exhale pouring itself up, out, and through you. As you lay here against the earth, can you send your breath not just into the front of your body, those points touching the air above you, but let your breath broaden into the back of your body, into all of those points touching the mat. And as we start our time and our practice here together with 3 more rounds of that 3-dimensional breath, wait for your next inhale as it fills you up completely. And exhale to let all of that breath go. 2 more times, just on your own. The bottom of your breath. Pause for a moment. Take notice of any difference that comes when you listen for and really remember your breath. And now keeping that attention inward as best as you can. Gently blink your eyes open if they're not already. And let's all meet with the knees bent, feet on the floor, as you bring your feet to come as wide as your mat. Again, your hands might rest on your body, or if there's space, they might come out to a T. But take a big breath in through the nose. And as you exhale, drop your knees over to the right-hand side like windshield wipers on a car. Inhale to bring the knees back up through center. And big exhale to drop your knees to the left. Do that once more from side to side. Inhale to bring the knees up. Every exhale, let the knees drop over. As you inhale, let the belly be soft and full, and exhale to let the legs get heavy. Now the next time you draw your knees back up through the middle, reach your arms alongside of you as you flip your palms down to face the floor. And now lift your feet up off the ground so that your knees are over your hips and your heels are in line with your knees, so 90-degree angles. You might notice or feel if your low back is fluttering up off the earth. If it is, can you slide the ribs back and really feel the lowest part of your back get heavy without pulling the thighs towards your belly? Keep the thighs vertical. Now flex your feet, press down into the palms, take a big breath in. And as you exhale, move your knees a few inches to the right to hover away from the ground as you press through the left palm. Inhale to bring the knees back up through center. Press your right palm down and exhale to drop the knees over to the left. Do that 2 more times from side to side. Every inhale, bring the knees back up. And every exhale, let the knees drop over. Go only as much as you can keep the palms heavy, the shoulder blades heavy, and the back of your head heavy against the earth. And just notice what you feel in the sides of your ribs. The next time the knees drop to the left and come back through center, give them a squeeze, hug them in towards your chest. You might make some small circles in one or the other direction, or lean gently from side to side to notice what you're working with. And now as you keep the right leg hugging in towards your belly and chest, lower the left foot down. Straighten your right leg or left leg long out in front of you. And for a twist on your back, let your left hand hold your outer right thigh and move that right leg up and over to the left. We'll be doing a whole bunch of twists this evening. So this doesn't have to be your deepest, most sensational one yet. You might bring blocks or some props underneath that right thigh so the floor really meets you where you are. But as you extend out through the left leg, let both shoulder blades get heavy to the earth. Take a big breath in and a longer breath out. On your next inhalation, draw the right leg back through center, lower it to the earth, and switch sides. Give the left leg a hug in towards your belly or chest. Straighten your right leg long out in front of you. And as your right hand holds your outer left thigh, let that left leg move up and over to the right hand side. Perhaps there's blocks underneath that left leg. As both shoulder blades get heavier to the ground, let the back of your head really soften to the earth. And now listen for the breath. Take a deeper breath in and a longer breath out as the back of your head softens to the floor. On your next inhale, draw that left leg back up through center. One more time, give your legs a squeeze in towards your belly or chest. Make some circles, lean a little from side to side, and the next place we'll meet is we'll all come to tabletop facing the front of your mat. So however you'd like to come off of your back, maybe you roll to one side or forward and back, but come onto all fours. Have your blocks framing out the front corners of your mat. You might start to use them as we move around. But in your table, let your hands come as wide as your mat, index fingers point straight ahead. Spread your fingers as wide as you can and tuck all 10 of your toes under back behind you. Start to round and arch your spine, moving with your breath through a few rounds of cat and cow, really linking breath and movement together. Let's take 4 more breaths just on your own. It might feel sweet for you to stay more rounded or arched for a few extra cycles. Maybe you draw your right hip to your right shoulder and breathe into the left side of your waist and vice versa. But however you're moving, can you offer it to the breath first? See if you can sip in and inhale before you begin to arch, and let your exhale start before you round or move in any shape or form. Let your next breath bring you back to your tabletop, hands and knees. Walk your hands a handprint forward of your shoulders. Keep them as wide as your mat. Walk your knees back behind your hips. And as you tuck your toes under, we'll meet in downward facing dog as you lift your hips up and back to the wall behind you. In your down dog, just take notice of your hands. See if they shifted. Can you keep your pointer fingers pointing straight ahead? Press the knuckle under your index finger down into the floor. And as you press down into your fingertips, lift your hips up and back towards the wall behind you. A deeper breath in and a longer breath out. And at the bottom of your exhale, lift your heels, tiny bend in your knees, look forward, and 1 foot at a time, walk yourself to the top of your mat, to your standing forward fold. The blocks are right there if you want to bring your hands to block, so the floor really meets you where you are. You might widen your feet or soften your knees as you bow in towards yourself to give your low back some extra space. But take a deeper breath in as it fills you up completely, and stay for your exhale as you fold in towards yourself. And now on your next breath, climb your hands up to your hips. Wait for the inhale to come all the way up to rise as you release your hands by your sides. With your feet right underneath you, take a big breath in to reach the arms forward and up. And exhale to soften the knees, hinge at your hips to fold. Inhale brings you halfway up to lengthen, hands to shins or blocks as you reach your chest forward. And exhale to step it back to plank pose. Find the top of your push-up. With your knees down or up, listen for that breath. Every inhale, can you hug your thighs, your legs towards each other as if they could become one pillar? And now hug your palms towards each other. Feel the forearms and biceps engage. Can you slide your ears back so your head is in line with your chest as you take a big breath in? And exhale to bend your elbows and lower all the way down onto your belly. Inhale to rise for cobra or baby cobra as you lift up through the heart. Hug your shoulder blades together. And exhale to make your way back to downward facing dog or tabletop or puppy pose for 3 slow, steady breaths. Oftentimes when we can't see something, it becomes out of sight, out of mind. So as you feel your hands against the earth, notice if anything shifted. Can you press the index knuckle down into the ground? Press your finger pads into the floor. And if I was a true menace, I'd try and come pluck your fingers up off the ground and you wouldn't let me. That's how much they're pressing into the earth. And now as you push down and forward through your arms, lift your butt up and back towards the back of the room. A bigger breath in and a longer breath out. And now lift your heels high, soften your knees, peek forward and come forward to the top of your mat, to your standing forward fold. Inhale to lengthen halfway, grow longer through the spine. And exhale to fold, bowing in. Use your own fists and measure your feet 2 fists width distances apart. And as you keep your toes pointing straight ahead, bend your knees, sit your hips back, and climb your palms up onto your thighs for chair pose. Hinge your hips to the back of your mat. Guide your knees open towards those second and third toes. And for this one, bring your hands to the center of your chest in Anjali Mudra. As you lift your chest up into your thumbs, sit your hips 1 inch lower to the ground. Now for an open twist, bring your right elbow to the inside of your right thigh as you twist to the left. So same elbow, same thigh. As you twist to the left-hand side, press your right thigh into your right elbow. Press your elbow back into your thigh and let that turn your chest open to the left as you sit 1 inch lower to the ground. And now inhale to come up halfway, grow long through the spine. Last one, left elbow to the inside of your left knee. We're going same elbow, same knee to give your low back a little extra space. And now notice if your hips are trying to swing with you to the right. Can you lean your butt to the left, turn your belly and chest to the right, and then slide the ears back as you sit 1 inch lower to the ground. On an inhale, unwind, stand through the legs, reach up, get tall, and exhale to fold, bowing in towards yourself. You feel your thighs? Okay. Great. If you didn't, we will later. So just testing the water. Keep your right foot forward, step your left foot all the way back to catch your lunge. And now come high up onto blocks on either side of that right foot or your fingertips. Squeegee your left toes back another inch or 2 so you get longer in your stance. And now stay in your lunge. Keep your fingertips on the floor. As you inhale, lift your chest. Grow long through the spine. And exhale to push through the right foot to straighten your right leg, this version of pyramid pose. Let's go through that twice more. Inhale, back to lunge. Bend the knee, lift your heart. And big exhale to fold as you straighten your right leg. One more time, take your entire inhale to come forward through to lunge. And on your exhale, fold as you straighten that right leg. Now pause once the right leg is straight. Can you feel your back heel lifted a drop higher up off the ground? Wrap your left hip forward and tack your outer right hip back as you notice where you feel it in the back of your right thigh. Now, keeping your hips as square as they are, you might stay here or begin to ground your left heel towards the earth to notice a little calf stretch in the back of your leg. Take a deeper breath in. Stay for your exhale. And then on your inhale, back it up. Bend your right knee. Step the left foot forward to meet your right into your standing forward fold. Inhale to lengthen halfway, grow longer through the spine. And exhale to fold, bowing in. With your feet hip distance apart, left foot stays forward, step your right foot back to catch your lunge. And as you come high up onto your fingertips or blocks, wiggle the right toes back just an inch or two. Now keep those hands down. As you inhale, grow long through the spine, reach your chest forward. And exhale to fold as you straighten your left leg. 2 more times with your breath. Big inhale through to lunge. And as you exhale, pyramid pose, fold and straighten. 1 more big breath in, grow longer through the spine. And on your 3rd exhale, fold as you straighten that left leg. Pause once the left leg is straight. Can you lift the right heel just a drop higher up off the ground? And the more you wrap your right hip forward, the more space your left hip has to tack back. Keeping those hips as square and steady as they are, maybe you begin to reach your right heel towards the back of your mat to notice what you feel in the back of the leg. Take a deeper breath in. Stay for your exhale. Try to release the grip of your fingers around the block or on the floor as you bow in. And now on your next breath, back it up. Bend your left knee. Plant your palms on the sticky mat and take it back to down dog. Left foot goes back to meet your right. Pedal the heels one at a time. Notice any difference that you might feel from one leg to the other. And on your next inhale, come forward to plank pose. As you exhale, lower all the way down to your belly. Inhale to rise for cobra. As you lift up through the heart, slide the shoulder blades together. And exhale to make your way back to downward facing dog, hips to the sky. From your down dog, listen for your breath, a deeper breath in and a longer breath out. Now lift the right leg up and back. Step your right foot through or around to catch your lunge. And on your next inhale, come on up to rise for high lunge. Reach the arms, the chest, and the torso to the sky. Feel free to walk your right foot an inch or 2 over to the right so your feet are less on that balance beam tightrope, and it'll steady the ground beneath you. But lift up through that back, heel, and thigh, stretch up through the fingertips, and even look away from the floor as you take a big breath in. Stay for your exhale, maybe bend 1 more inch into that front leg. Now hands come to your hips, tiny bend in the back knee, and all the hops you need to come up to stand. Left thigh to your chest, grow 1 inch taller through the top of your head, and now lower the left foot down. Bend your knees, sit your hips back. For standing figure 4, lean into your left foot, lift your right heel, and cross your right ankle over your left thigh. Think hips like chair pose, so really hinge those hips back as you lift your chest to the sky. And now your hands can be anywhere to steady your balance, in front of your heart, on the blocks like Marcy's demoing, or on your hips. But take a full breath in, down, and wide. Stay for the exhale. Can you flex through the right foot as you look away from the floor? And now inhale to come all the way to rise. Lower the right foot down. Reach the arms up to the sky. Grab your right wrist with your left hand. And for standing crescent, tip up and over to the left hand side for a side stretch. Take a breath here into the right side of your waist. And as you slide the ears back to lift your chin, maybe bring your arms back in line with your ears to broaden through your chest. Big inhale to come all the way up through center, touch the sky, and on your exhale, fold as you bow in towards yourself. Plant those palms to the top of your mat, walk your feet to the back of your mat to bring it back to downward facing dog. A few more times together. Inhale through to plank pose. As you exhale, lower Chaturanga Dandasana. Wait for your breath as you rise, cobra. Press the tops of your feet down and exhale to bring yourself back to downward facing dog, hips to the sky. 1 more side. On your next inhale, wait for the breath to lift your left leg up. Step it through or around to catch your lunge. And on your next inhale, come up to rise for high lunge. Reach the chest and the fingertips to the sky. Good. Listen for the breath. As you inhale, lift up through the back heel, the back thigh, and through the fingertips. As you exhale, keep reaching up through the arms, but bend 1 more inch into that front leg. And now maybe your hands stay up overhead or they come to your hips. But we come up to stand, all the hops you need to spring off the right foot, grow 3 inches taller through the top of your head, and now lower both feet to the ground. Feel gravity beneath you as you bring your hands to your hips. Sit your hips back, bend your knees into chair pose, lean all of your weight into your right foot, lift your left heel, and begin to cross your left ankle over the right thigh. Maybe hands to blocks out in front of you so you can really hold something solid. Maybe hands to the center of your chest. But as you flex the left foot, just to steady the ankle and knee, take a deep breath in and a longer breath out through every direction of you. On your next inhale, take your time, come all the way up to stand. Lower the feet to the ground, reach the arms up, grab your left wrist. As you grow 3 inches taller, like you're going up and over a beach ball, tip to the right for standing crescent. Breathe here into that left side of your waist. And as you slide those ribs back, can you broaden into the middle of your back? Imagine like someone's pulling the earlobes back so your head is over your chest. And then maybe your arms come back in line with your ears as you tip to the right. Inhale to come all the way up through center, get taller, reach up, and exhale to fold, bowing in towards yourself. Plant those palms to the top of your mat, step your feet all the way back to bring it back to down dog, and really listen for the full depth of your breath. Good, as you press the inner edges of your hands down, I'm just going to give you a little pressure here. Inner edges of your hands down into the floor, and try to not let me lift your fingers up. Oh, yes. On your next breath in, come forward to plank pose, and exhale to lower all the way down onto your belly. Once you're on your belly, reach your arms alongside of you. Flip your palms down to face the floor. We'll lift in for locust pose in a moment, but before we fully lift, listen for that breath. Can you breathe into your belly? Feel your low back broaden and widen. Breathe into your chest. Feel the whole back of your body expand. Now as you shrug your shoulders to the ears, hug the shoulder blades together. Wait for the inhale to lift your head, lift your chest, float your arms up off the earth, and exhale to let your legs lift up and away from the ground. As you lift everything but your hips, try to soften or close your eyes and really listen for the fullness of your breath. With each inhale, think inner thighs towards each other. With each exhale, hug the shoulder blades together to lift your palms 1 more inch. A big breath in. And on your exhale, release as you lower all the way down. You can rest on your cheeks, you can rest on your palm. You might wiggle your tush from side to side or stay still. But let your breath saturate into your belly. Let the whole back part of you broaden and widen. If you're on a palm or on one of your cheeks, you might turn to the other side and take 1 more full breath in and a longer breath out. After a few breaths on the floor, bring your hands to either side of your chest. Press yourself up through to tabletop. You can sit back onto your heels, sip some water, and shake out anything you need to shake out. Warmer, I see the sweatshirt slowly peeling off, which I accept like an onion, goes from front to back. We'll take a thigh stretch to start. So I like to have blankets underneath the knees. You might have blocks under your hands. But for twisted monkey, that thigh stretch with the twist, we'll meet in tabletop, come onto all fours. And now step your right foot to the outside of your right hand, like Marcy's going to show, into your lizard lunge. Once both hands are on the inside of your right foot, keep your left hand down and climb your right palm up onto your right thigh. Start to turn your belly towards the brick wall. That's it, keeping your left hand on the floor or on a block. Hug your legs in towards each other. Shrug the shoulder blades together, and now bend your back knee, lift your left toes up off of the floor. Reach your right hand towards the back of the room. You might hold a strap or grab onto the foot itself. Nice. Can I ask you a favor? If it doesn't wobble you, bring this hand over to here and then turn your chest. It'll give you a little more space. There you go. As you listen for your breath, hug your shoulder blades towards each other. Slide your ears back so your head is in line with your chest. As you take a big breath in, Stay for one more exhale. You might bend into that front thigh as your belly turns open to the right. Now on your next inhale, release the hold of that foot. Plant your palms. Come on back to tabletop. A breath or two here. Just see what you feel from one thigh to the other and one leg to the other. And now for the second side, step your left foot to the outside of your left hand. Walk your right hand as wide as the right side of your mat as you climb your left palm onto your left thigh to twist to the other side. Hug your knees towards each other. Pull the left heel back and the right thigh forward. And now bend your back knee to lift your back toes up off the floor. Breathe right here, or perhaps that top arm reaches back for the right foot, or a strap, or the leg of your pants. Think shoulder blades together, especially that bottom right one. Slide your ears back so your head is right over your heart as you take a full breath in, down, and wide. Stay for your exhale. Maybe that front thigh gets heavier to the earth as your belly and chest turns itself open to the left. On your inhale, release the hold of that leg. Plant your palms, take it back to tabletop, and we'll meet in downward facing dog as you lift your hips up and back to the wall behind you. From your down dog, take a breath or two. Notice what you feel. And now walk your feet to come as wide as your mat, tiny bend in your knees, and one palm at a time, walk your hands back to meet your feet so you fold somewhere at the back of your mat. Let the feet be wide, let the head be heavy. You might even soften your knees so that your fingertips tap the floor, even catch opposite elbows. But take a breath as you bow in towards yourself, a longer breath in, and a deeper breath out. Now after a few breaths, climb your hands up onto your hips, stand through your legs, and inhale to come all the way up to rise as you release your hands by your sides. We'll take a shoulder stretch to start. So I like to hold a strap between the hands. It'll give your chest a lot of extra space. You can also interlace your fingers at your low back, completely up to you. But once your hands are behind you, start with your elbows very bent. Think shoulder blades together. Inhale to lift up through the chest. And as you exhale, fold forward as you reach your arms off of your tush up towards the ceiling. That's it. As you fold and bow in, take a tiny bend in your knees so that they don't lock. And now tiny bend in your elbows so that they don't lock. It'll feel awkward, but we're trying to get out of the hyperextension of the joints and more into space in the muscles. Now as you keep your fingers interlaced or holding a strap, try to tug your strap apart. Think shoulder blades towards each other. Maybe your arms reach overhead towards the front of your mat. Take a big breath in. Stay for the exhale, and then slowly release your hands back down to your tush. Ditch your strap off to the side, and one palm at a time, walk your hands back forward to make your way back to downward facing dog. From your down dog, float the right leg up and back. As you exhale, core plank, right knee to your nose. Take a breath here with your shoulders over your wrists. Lift your left thigh higher, lift your butt higher, and into that space, can you carve the right knee one more inch forward? Now inhale to extend the right leg up and back. One more with a twist, right knee to left armpit. Lift your back thigh higher, lift your butt higher, look forward, and maybe draw the right thigh one more centimeter forward. Big inhale to reach up and back through the right leg. And on your exhale, step it all the way through to catch your lunge. Pivot your hands and feet to the left. Come into your wide-legged forward fold facing the long edge of your mat. And now there's plenty of room in class today, but if you do feel like if you were to come up halfway, there would be butt cheeks right in your face. You might stagger slightly with your friends. Some people come forward, some come back. Because on your inhale, do come up halfway with your fingertips on the floor or blocks. Reach your chest forward. Now keep your right hand down. Bring your left palm to your low back. Shrug your left shoulder to the ear. Squeeze the left shoulder blade onto your spine. And from your belly, begin to twist to the back of your mat. Your hand on your low back will act as a little reference. Notice, see if your left butt cheek is higher than your right. If it is, you might lean your butt towards the front of your mat. Turn your belly and chest to the back of the room. And then slide your ears back so your head is in line with your chest. Stay here, or for the last breath, maybe that left arm reaches up to the sky as you take a deeper breath in. Stay for one more exhale. And now on your inhale, unwind, lower the left hand. Turn the right knee and toes to catch your lunge. Come high up onto your fingertips or blocks on either side of that right foot. And like we did earlier for pyramid pose, straighten your right leg. Maybe you come higher up onto blocks on either side of that foot. As you lift your back heel, wrap your left hip forward, tack your outer right hip back, and now inhale to come up halfway to lengthen, grow long through the spine. Keep your left hand down on the block or on the floor, and bring your right palm to your low back if you'd like to start. Wrap your right hip back, shrug your right shoulder up and back, and begin to turn from your belly to the right for this version of revolved triangle. You might keep your hand on your low back or hip. Maybe that arm reaches up to the sky, but take a full breath in. Stay for the exhale. Think outer right hip back as you press the right big toe side edge of your foot into the earth. Beautiful. Inhale to unwind, lower the hands, bend your right knee, and step it back to downward facing dog. I told you it was twists today, right? This was twist 204. We're going to do a couple more on the other side. So just see what you feel from one leg to the other and one side to the other. And for that wide-legged forward fold, round 2, lift the left leg to the sky. As you exhale, core plank, left knee to nose. Lift your right thigh higher, lift your butt higher, and into that cocoon, carve the left thigh 2 inches forward. Big inhale to reach up and back through the left leg. Last one, left knee to right armpit, as high as you can go. Lift the right thigh, lift your butt, even look forward and draw the left thigh forward. Inhale to go up and back through the left leg. And as you exhale, step it all the way through to catch your lunge. Take your time, pivot your hands and feet to the right to find that wide-legged forward fold on the other side. Tiny bend in your knees if you know if they lock. Watch for the butts in front of you. And on your inhale, keep your fingertips down as you come up halfway to lengthen. Think chest long towards the long edge of your mat. And now with your left palm down, bring your right hand to your low back or to your right hip. When you shrug your right shoulder to the ear and squeeze the right shoulder blade onto the spine, you're trying to get long through the right side of your waist. And from your belly, begin to twist to the back of your mat. That's it. Every inhale, think legs hug in towards each other, butt to the front of the room, belly to the back of the room, and then ears back so your head is in line with your chest. Stay, or for the last breath, maybe the right arm reaches up to the sky as you take a deeper breath in. One more exhale as you offer that breath out. And then inhale to unwind, lower the right hand, turn the left knee and toes to catch your lunge. As you come high up onto your fingertops or blocks, wiggle the right toes back and straighten your left leg for this version of Pursvottanasana, pyramid pose. The more the back heel can lift, the more you'll be able to wrap your right hip forward and the outer left hip back. And now keeping those hips steady, inhale to come up halfway, grow long through the spine. This time your right hand stays on the block or on the floor as your left palm comes to your low back or to your hip. Think left shoulder to the ear. Squeeze the left shoulder blade to the spine. And from the depths of your belly, begin to turn to the left. That's it. Think left outer hip back, right hip forward as you press the big toe side edge of your left foot down. Stay, or maybe the left arm reaches to the sky as you take a deep breath in. Stay for one more exhale. Gently slide your ears back to lean back. And then inhale to unwind. Lower the palms, bend the knee, step it back to downward facing dog. Notice what you feel, how it feels, and where in your being you begin to feel it. From your down dog, stay right here and breathe. You might lower your knees to the ground and take a few breaths closer to gravity. You might let your breath take you through one of those linking vinyasas we've done together already. There's no wrong answer, but anywhere you choose to go, moving or staying still, can you really offer it to the full depth of your breath, a deeper breath in, and long, clear, steady breaths out. That's it. After your next few breaths, we'll meet in downward facing dog just for a moment longer to come up to stand. So when you make your way to down dog, Lift your heels, tiny bend in your knees. Walk your feet to the middle of your mat. Walk your hands to the middle of your mat to meet yourself somewhere in the middle. Inhale to come up halfway to lengthen, grow longer. And as you exhale, fold and bow in. Take a big breath in to rise, stand through your legs, reach up, get taller than you were. And exhale to let your hands come down by your sides. Shake it out, sip some water, take a breath. One more thing to try out, and then we're going to do 2 rounds of arm balances and then lay down. Yeah? So when you're hydrated, when you've shaken everything out, come to stand anywhere. Actually stagger if you could slightly with your friends. So some come to the top, some come to the back. And see if you can bring your feet all the way together to touch. We're going to come into a tiny little squat. Begin to bend your knees, sit your hips back. Your heels might lift as you lower your heels towards your hips towards your heels. That's it. Now think thighs towards each other. Fingertips might come to the floor or to blocks on either side of you. As you inhale, lift up through the chest. As you exhale, draw your knees in towards your belly. Now keep your right fingertips down on the ground. Reach your left arm all the way up to the sky. And as you exhale for a little balance, draw your knees towards your belly. Cross your left elbow over your right thigh and start to twist open towards the brick wall. We're not quite in the arm balance yet, but just a moment of hot potato. Squeeze your heels together, your thighs together as you lift your chest. And then you might be mime in a box. Maybe your right hand stays down or you reach the right arm up like you're in a box. That's it. Slide the shoulders and ears back to breathe. Good. Inhale to come all the way back through center. Bring your hands to floor or blocks. Does mime in a box make sense? I'm like, I cannot get out. That's what we're trying to do. I don't know if that cue was helpful, but that's the action. Let's do the other side. So as you bring your knees towards your belly, see if the legs can squeeze in together. And now left hand down, reach the right arm all the way up. Get long through the right side and simultaneously pull the knees in towards your belly while you cross the right elbow over your left thigh. Think elbow into thigh, thigh into elbow, and lift your chest up as your belly turns open to the left. Stay with that left hand down, maybe palms in front of your chest or mime in a box. I cannot get out. Whee! Inhale to come all the way back up through center. Bring your fingertips to the floor. Widen your feet, straighten your legs as you fold in towards yourself. Take a big breath in and a longer breath out. Now, however you're going to make your way back to down dog, you might walk your feet back, you might walk your hands forward, but step yourself back to downward facing dog. Okay, from down dog, lower the knees, sit back onto your heels, shake it out. We've made it. 2 rounds. So last week, we worked towards Ekapada Kundalini 2, the one that was extended side angle and triangle pose in Chaturanga. Today, spoiler alert, we're doing the twist. So I'll show you one way to do it, and then there'll be another option of how to get into it. This first one, do you want to show or you want me to show? Yeah, great. So Marcy, I'll talk Marcy through it, and you'll be able to watch. The aim of the game is to never lift your hips up off of the blocks. But the idea, similar to last week, is thinking how far forward can you go so that your legs might start to lift up off the earth. So what Marcy's going to do is bring the blocks to their stack 2 on top of each other, bring them to the middle of the mat, and then just turn them this way so that the hips can really land. And now she'll come to down dog with her chest hovering over the blocks and bolsters. Great. And now this side, the left leg will lift up, left knee to right armpit, and she'll kick the left foot all the way off to the right. So straighten your left leg. That's it. And spin your back heel to the floor. Now she'll stay here for a breath. As she reaches out through this heel and thinks chest forward, you'll get a lot of length. And now to explore to lift the back leg, she's going to bend this knee, walk the hand back, and let the arm and elbow make out. And she's thinking chest so far forward that when she bends the elbows, the back leg lifts. Yay! And then only if she wants to, you don't have to, but only if she wants, the left leg might straighten off to the right, similar to revolved triangle and all those lunges. Other one. This leg, yeah, but that was a bonus, that was extra. And then to come out, it's like a seesaw. You tip the palms forward, feet come back to the floor, and take it back to tabletop. Thank you. Did that make sense? So the idea is you're not thinking face to the floor, because when face comes to the floor, the shoulders will drop down, And the legs will lift, but it'll feel more like a hop. I'm trying to get you to think, how far forward can you go so that your legs have a little bit of room to lift up? So we'll do this once on the right, once on the left, and then the second option, if you want to explore, is doing it without the blocks. So we'll see where it takes us. So if you're coming into this, I'll talk you through variations, but find those blocks, stack them one on top of each other like sandwich bread, somewhere in the middle of your mat. And if anything, this version will give you a lot of length in the IT bands and in the outer hips. So as you find your blocks, make your way to your downward facing dog with your chest hovering over the blocks or bolsters as you lift your hips to the sky. Take a breath or two, notice what you feel. And now with your hands as wide as your mat, take up a little extra space. Lift your right leg to the sky. Draw your right knee to your left armpit. And now kick your right foot all the way to the left as you land your right hip onto the block. Good. It might take a little Goldilocks moment to find a sweet spot. And now stay for a moment. Spin your back heel to the floor. Reach back through the heel and think chest forward. Now, if you want to find that variation, you got to bend your right elbow. Bend your left elbow. Walk your left arm back so your left arm and your right leg make out. Let them kiss. And now think chest forward, not down. Look forward. Think heart so far forward that when you bend your elbows, the back leg might get lighter. Maybe the right foot gets lighter. Maybe you straighten your right leg to the left and look at the toes and say hi to them. Whee! And now when you don't want to do it anymore, you push your palms straight, tip your feet back, and come back into tabletop. Okay. How'd that go? Sorry, I'm screaming over your ear. Questions? Yes. Yes.
But I guess I got lost where you were like, the elbow and the knee kiss?
The elbow and the knee kiss. Because the idea is, if they don't kiss, then the legs will kind of be floating in space, which they definitely can. Kishan was asking about this point. Which elbow and knee? This elbow and knee. This elbow and knee. If they don't kiss, also fine, but you're just in a floating float. Yeah? When I say elbow and knee kiss, I'm thinking bend your knee, bring this arm and elbow to touch, even if it's just a whisper of a peck. Yeah? And then you think, it's Valentine's Day on Friday, right? We're just romance with yourself. That's what we're looking for. You think chest forward and elbows back. So this knee stays bent and then the arm and leg stay connected, because for just thinking about building blocks of moving into the arm balance, I don't know how you would balance this way, yeah? But you might be able to balance this way. Gives you leverage. It's just another point of contact, yeah. Was that helpful to see? Make out. Okay, let's try the other side. One more side. I know, oh no. Okay, downward facing dog, hips to the sky. Now let the left leg lift up and back. Left knee to right armpit. Kick your left leg off to the right and land your outer left hip to the block. Just take a breath here. Spin your back heel to the floor and notice what you feel in the outside of that left leg. You might even straighten the left knee if you'd like. Now, if you want to move to that variation, bend your left knee, walk your hands back so that your left elbow or your right elbow and your left thigh touch. Now, not straight down, look forward. Think chest so far forward that when the elbows bend, the back leg might get lighter. Maybe you flex the foot up off the floor. Maybe you straighten your left leg to the right, look at the toes, squeeze the shoulder blades together. And when you do not want to do it anymore, seesaw. Push through the palms, send your hips back, and down to table, child's pose, a moment to rest. Success? I did teach this one to the youth this morning. And not saying that you are not the youth, but you know, the youthier of youths. And when they came out of it, 90% of them have never taken a yoga class before, and I'm just throwing spaghetti at the wall at this point to be like, are you breathing? Is everything okay? But when they came out of that pose, everyone was just like, fully like glass-eyed, unable to know where they were. And I was like, now it's time to lie down. So we're almost there, but I want to show you one more variation of something that we can work towards. So if you went into that and you were like, okay, There's some stability, I'm finding my breath, I'm finding a little bit of leverage, and you want to explore what it's like to not be on the blocks. There's a few different ways to get into this, but we did one of the prep versions just a few moments ago. You get into your tiny egg. I know this pose has a name, but I just like to call it tiny egg. Knees towards your chest, hand to the floor, and reach this arm up to the sky. And now you start mime in a box. Yeah, squeezing the legs together, turning your belly and chest. And now this is where the arm and leg really have to kiss, because if they don't make out, it's going to be pancake on the floor. You want to think, hands to your mat, lift your hips and heels, and now the chest goes so far forward that when you bend the elbows, you might come into side crow. Oh God, maybe. And then maybe the legs straighten, just like they did when they were on the blocks. The legs don't have to straighten. The legs don't have to lift up off the floor. You can be in this variation that we were just in. You can also do exactly what we just did with the blocks. But if you have a whiff of an interest to see what it's like to be off of them, this is a chance to play. Any questions about it before we go in? Everyone have something they want to do? Yeah? Okay. So either if you're working with the blocks, I'm going to cut you loose and you'll do right and left side just like we did on side one. If you're working in egg, I'll talk you through egg. Yeah? So for those coming into this version of Eka Pada Kundanyasana A, let's all face the right side of your mat in your egg. This will help you keep your hands on the mat. That's it. So turn to face the right side of your mat. Squeeze your heels together, squeeze the thighs together, push into the ground to lift your chest up. And now your left hand stays down. Reach your right arm all the way up to the sky. As you draw your knees in towards your belly, cross your right elbow over your left thigh and mime in a box to the front of the room. That's it. Squeeze the thighs together. Hug the shoulder blades together. Slide the ears back. You're in the arm balance without any weight on the arms, so you can stay here. Or if you want to play, look to the floor. Bring your hands as wide as your mat forward of your shoulders. And now lift your heels. Lift your butt up. Tuck your knees into your right tricep. And think chest so far forward that when you bend your elbows, maybe it's a hop, 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 hop of the legs. Maybe one or both feet lift. Maybe both legs straighten as you think chest forward. Whee! I know it goes from, I said this last week, and this applies to a lot of the arm balance, it goes from like, okay, blocks. I know where my body is, to no blocks, what the fresh hell is going on very quickly. I'm allowed to say hell in class, right? Questions? There's always a question, not always, sometimes, of that elusive elbow. So this time, what was it? Your knees were tucked into that right elbow. You were twisting. So sometimes people ask what's happening with the left. One thing that you might do, which side do I want to do? Is here, you do your mime in a box. And then the question is, what's happening with this elbow? For a long time, I started bringing the elbow into the hip crease to use it as another point of contact so that you're kind of on stilts. And that gives you a little extra. You're really making out. It's like a full kiss. Elbow to thigh, elbow to outer hip. And then eventually, if it strikes your fancy, then that arm really comes out more like chaturanga. Sorry, Marcy, thank you. Yeah? Let's try the other side, last side. So face the other side of your mat. Feet together, knees together, thighs together. Give them a squeeze. And with your fingertips on the floor or blocks, grow tall through your chest. That's it. Right fingertips down in the middle of your mat. Reach the left arm up. And now draw your knees in towards your belly as you cross your left elbow over the right thigh. Mime in a box. Spread the fingers. Shoulder blades together, slide the ears back, take a breath, and then only if your heart desires, look to the floor, bring your hands as wide as your mat. Your right elbow might tuck into your right hip as you think chest so far forward, not down, far forward, and as the chest goes forward and you bend your elbows, maybe one or both feet, maybe no feet, maybe both feet and both legs straighten. Nice, Emily. Okay, one side is always very different than the other. Change, I know, the little crutch, that's the word. By popular demand, we all want to sit down? Everyone seated? Okay, let's come for a moment in reverse table before we officially lie down. So come to sit on your butt, bring your legs out in front of you, bend your knees, and bring your hands behind your tush, slightly as wide as your mat. I like to have my thumbs facing forward. You might have your fingertips face forward, but scoot your hips all the way forward towards your heels. Stay here as you lift up through the chest, or if you want more weight on the wrists, push through your feet to lift your hips up. Push your palms down to lift the back of your chest. Perhaps you look at your knees, or without cricking your neck, slide the sides of your throat back to look straight up to the sky. But push down and forward through your legs, lift your booty. Push your palms down and apart, lift the back of your heart. A big breath in. And on your exhale, lower your tush all the way to the ground. Do a little spin. Come to lie on your back so that your head is up to the front of the room. Your feet are to the wall behind you. Have your therapy balls within just a grabbable, reachable distance. If anyone needs some, I can bring some over to you. And have your strap close by as well. If you need a strap, I can also bring one of those over to you too. But once you lay on your back, we'll take a few rounds of breath in supported bridge pose. So with your knees bent, feet on the ground, shrug your shoulders to your ears and wiggle the shoulder blades together. Push down and forward through your feet to lift your hips up, and slide that block to its lowest height right underneath your tush. After a lot of twists, back bends, supportive back bends, our counter pose to create more space in the chest. So as you find the weight of your hips heavy, supported, let the shoulders come towards your ears. Snuggle the shoulder blades together to feel the back of your heart lift. And gently press your head down to lift your chin. Your hands might rest on your body. They might come alongside of you with your palms up or down. But 3 more deep breaths at your pace. A deeper breath in. And longer breaths out through every direction of you. Take another breath in, down, and wide. And as you exhale, really offer all of that breath out through every direction of your being. Now, after a few breaths here, slowly lift your hips up, release the block out from under your tush, and begin to windshield wiper your knees gently from one side to the other to clear some space in and through the low back. As you take a longer breath in, exhale to let every ounce of that breath go. Now draw both legs back through center. Find your strap, and we'll come into some space through the backs of the legs. So you can unwrap your strap like a big jump rope. And as you keep your left foot down, lift your right foot up off of the earth. Do you need a strap? Thank you. As you bring the strap around the sole of your right foot, begin to straighten your right leg up towards the ceiling. And now let your hands hold on to either edge of the strap, and give yourself enough slack so that your elbows can touch down onto the ground on either side of your body. As you flex the right foot, shrug both shoulders to the ears, wiggle the shoulder blades towards one another, and really let the back of your head get heavier to the earth. A big breath in and a longer breath out. Now you might keep your left foot on the ground with your left knee bent, or perhaps you straighten your left leg long out in front of you as you dig your left heel, the back of your left calf, and your thigh into the earth. And now bring both edges of the strap into just your right hand. Bring your left palm to your left hip or to your left thigh. And 1 inch at a time, begin to move that right leg over to the right. Less about how low the leg can be, but how much can your left butt cheek anchor to the earth? How much can your left shoulder anchor down onto the ground? And as you shrug that right shoulder up and back, take a deeper breath in and a longer breath out. I'm going to give you a little inner thigh. On your next inhale, draw that right leg all the way up through center. Release it from the strap. Bend the knee, lower the right foot to the floor, and just shake it out or give yourself some circles in the ankle or leg. And let's take it to the second side. So with both knees bent, feet on the ground, find your strap around the ball or sole of that left foot. Enough slack on the strap that your elbows can touch down onto the floor on either side of you. And as you shrug your shoulders to your ears, wiggle the shoulder blades together, really let the back of your head soften to the earth. We did this early in class when we started laying on our backs. Can you send your breath not just into the front of your body, but the back of your body, all of those points touching the floor beneath you? And then perhaps you stay with that right knee bent, or you straighten your right leg long as you press your right heel, your right calf, and the back of your right thigh into the earth. Bring both edges of the strap into just your left hand, and as your right palm rests on top of your right thigh, let that left leg move up and over to the left-hand side. Can you really anchor both butt cheeks down to the earth? Let the back of your head get heavy to the ground. And listen for the full sound of your breath. You guys stay for an extra second. I'll give you a little thing. Big breath in. Big exhale out. You okay there? Take another long breath in through the nose. Stay for the exhale. And on your next inhale, draw that left leg up through center. Lower the foot onto the earth, release it from the strap, and give both legs a hug in towards your belly or in towards your chest to give them a squeeze. Make some circles in one or the other direction. Maybe you lean gently from side to side. We've done a lot of asymmetrical work from leg to leg, so see what it feels like to hold both legs simultaneously. Maybe you're here, or you come into your version of happy baby. Your hands might catch the backs of your thighs, your calves, your ankles, or the pinky edges of your feet. But a deeper breath in and a longer breath out. And now release the hold of your legs down onto the floor and find your therapy balls. We'll talk you through some therapy ball work in the upper back. If there's any other region that you know or that you prefer, you're more than welcome to take this time to work on your own. You can also set up early for rest. We'll meet you there momentarily. But if you're working with therapy balls in the upper back, feel free to keep them or take them out of their tote. But as you hold them in your hand, lift your head and shoulders up off the ground and pop the therapy balls in between your shoulder blades from the upper back onto either side of your spine. That's it. There's no incorrect place that they should be, but if they feel asymmetrical or awkward, feel free to call, raise a hand, and sometimes moving them an inch or two makes a big world of difference. Your head might come down onto the floor. If you want to alleviate some pressure, you might bring your head up onto a block. Or if you'd like to add more pressure, perhaps your head stays on the floor and you lift your hips to a block at its lowest height. But the aim of the game of therapy ball work isn't to be in the place of most sensation, most intensity, but where you can really feel the full fluency of your breath. Take a deeper breath in through the nose and exhale out through parted lips to let all of that breath go. Stay here for a few breaths, or to find a new place with your feet on the floor, knees bent. Push through your legs with just enough effort to roll your body towards your head so you feel those therapy balls come down to the middle of your shoulder blades, ever so slightly lower than where they just were. Bring your blocks with you if you have them as you take a deeper breath in and a longer breath out. You might keep your arms heavy on your body or alongside of you. Or if you'd like to explore any gentle movement, Perhaps those arms reach slowly up to the ceiling, arms and palms heavy. They might move almost like seaweed in water or gentle figure eights. Or just watching for any props or neighbors around you. Perhaps the left arm stays reaching to the sky as you reach your right arm overhead towards the front of the room, and then slowly switch from side to side. But if you can move 10% slower than you are already, can you offer it to your breath? Slow down your next breath in, and long, clear exhales out through every direction. After a few breaths here in the middle of your back, you can lower your arms down by your sides, and for one more place, push through your legs to roll your body a few more inches to the front of the room until those therapy balls come down to the bottom of your shoulder blades. So still in the upper back, just slightly lower than where they were. With any and all props to support, take a big breath in and exhale out through your nose or mouth. You can stay right here breathing, or you might once again reach your arms up to the ceiling, and this time give yourself a hug as if your hands are reaching for the tennis balls behind your back. Maybe you lean gently from one side to the other, or stay still. If you are giving yourself that embrace, perhaps you switch which elbow is on top to just see what it feels like for a little difference. Then slowly begin to unwrap your arms if they're wrapped. Clear any blocks out from underneath you if they're there. And to make the exit journey out a couple ways, you can either scooch your hips towards your heels or roll over to one side to push the therapy balls fully out. But sometimes, not always, if they stay in for the remainder of rest, they create more tension than softness. So however and whenever they exit, as you drape them off to the side, let your upper back get heavy to the earth, and take notice of what you don't always see with your eyes, but you can very clearly feel. And now the next place we'll meet is in rest. So give yourself time to take anything you need, any layers you'd like to add, any props to support you. Perhaps it's a rolled up blanket underneath your knees, or a blanket over your thighs and belly for warmth and weight. You might let your hair down or set your glasses safely off to the side. But as you find a way to be that's as comfortable as it possibly can, let your eyes close or soften to a point, to once again turn in towards your breath. Each breath gently dissolves the entire practice that was. Each breath helps you arrive to where you are now. And every breath that comes after makes more space for what has yet to come. So as you let every breath, let your body get heavier into the ground, the heavier your physical body becomes, the more spacious and the lighter you may just start to feel. Begin to deepen your breath. Take a longer breath in and a sweeter breath out. Take another breath in, down, and wide. And as you exhale, offer all of that breath out. Begin to let your breath awaken the body that you're in and the very being that you are, with any gentle movement that feels sweet to you. You might roll your wrists or ankles in one or the other direction. Perhaps you tip your head from one side to the other, heavy against its support. You're just watching for props and neighbors around you. Perhaps you reach your arms away from your legs or draw your knees in towards your chest. But when the time comes, we'll all meet with the knees bent, arms overhead, as you roll over to any side of your choice to curl into yourself. A breath or two here against the ground. And as you push down into the floor, come up to rise to a tall seat, similar to how we started. With your eyes soft and your attention turned inward, take a deep breath in, down, and wide. And as you exhale, offer the breath up and out through every fiber of you. Our time together will finish with one more of those same breaths. You can place your hands to center, anywhere that feels for you. As you take a deep breath in, to let it all go. You might bow your head to your hands, or gently lift your hands towards your head in such a simple yet sincere gesture of self-reverence, bowing to yourself and to each other who practiced right alongside next to you. And with all of our hearts, Marcy and I bow to each and every one of you all. Thank you so very much for being here. Thank you. 1,000,000,001 twists. Drink water, stay warm, be safe in the snow, take care of yourselves. If you're doing parade stuff, have a great time. I will be in my personal home. But otherwise, the announcement that I have for this weekend is after, if you've done stuff over the weekend, my beloved Adriana is offering on Sunday from 6:30 to 8 candlelit yoga nidra. She's a witch in the best way, and she guides you into deep rest. And it'll be right at twilight. You can call someone to come pick you up, take you back to your house, and go back to sleep immediately to rest. I mean that like to just fall asleep, because that's what I'll be doing. So if you're free on Sunday, she's doing that. And otherwise, I think that's it. Anyone else have announcements? Any things that you are going to, you're seeing, other people might want to know about? It's the winter, you know, we're indoors. I'm indoors. Oh, tomorrow, I try and gatekeep her so hard, but she's so good that I want you to know who she is. There's a place called Note to Self Wellness that's up in Kensington? I don't know, somewhere north. But my lady, my friend, my witch, I'm not describing her well. She does facial massage, okay? It's not chemically. She massages your face like Play-Doh. She makes you leave feeling like you are a new person. She's offering a workshop that I'm going to tomorrow that's like a partner's face touch. I don't know what it's about, what's going to happen. It's at Formation Spa. But if you are interested, Formation Spa Google will be able to tell you what's happening tomorrow night. Okay.